All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Story Grub. I like to draw, and I have paint on my fingernails, so don't uh, don't hate me for that, please. That seems to be like the major comment of the year around these parts. You gay? You have fingernail polish on your fingers? Holy moly! You gay? It's like, is this 1982? That was the worst part about the 80s, by the way. The homophobes. I tell you that much. Bunch of weirdos. Okay. It's Friday and it's happy hour. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm for drawing up a storm. And just being yourself and shit. I don't know where that came from, friends. I know it's very early, and if you're tuning in for the first time, it's very confusing and bewildering, but such is life. This is life, imitating art, imitating life. Back and forth. Like the best and worst game of ping pong you've never ever played in your ever never life. And I will never be able to say that again twice. I'm sure of it. I think that's a bird. You can tell by the smile on its evil little face. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta sharpen the beak. That's what I tell all of my students when they come up to me and they say, "Hey, master, when you're picking up dog shit around the yard, how do you do it so easily? How do you do it without even leaving poop on the ground?" And I say, you gotta scoop and poop. You gotta scoop. You gotta shuffle. You gotta pivot. Gotta stay focused. And you just gotta know that you are the fecal engineer. It's you, nobody else. And then life gets a lot easier after that. Just some advice. Oh wait, where was I? Yeah. I've been drawing since I was a kid. It ran in the family. Still does. I imagine some of my cousin's kids do. Doodle. But I wasn't on for a long time because my grandpa and my dad and my brother stopped. Even though I feel like they would have been, my grandpa could have been like a brilliant, probably like a famous illustrator if he had ever smoked a joint and just relaxed. He was a very hard man. I think a lot of my family could have done with a little bit of chilling out. But no, they chose to go the authoritarian route, which is fine. Everybody does what they think they need to do. I'm just built different. So I want to take this girl out on Friday to see a movie. What should I go see? If anybody wants to tell me something, that would be neat. Because I don't watch movies and I don't even know what movies are playing right now. I don't even drink water. I'm so cool. I only drink coffee with water in it. I thought that was my phone ringing for a second. This is a band called Sleepy Seahorse, by the way. I would ask my Aussie friends when they come on about a movie, but I don't think they have movie theaters in Australia or in Austria. I think they're just always just a little bit worried about stuff. Too worried to enjoy theater, to enjoy cinema, to enjoy the good things in life. Like death and destruction portrayed in cinema, in theater, and entertainment. Why do that when you could just get a bag of popcorn and just go out in the front line and watch, Jeez, there's plenty of wars out there. Just go and watch one. I don't think they'd mind. Well, actually, they would probably mind you filming war crimes and all, Right here, I'm adding muscle. I'm adding tone to the muscular, circulatory flesh mobile that is encompassing the skeleton-like face that was drawn asunder. Asunder. I like that word asunder, but I totally used it. I used it wrong. There's not many rhymes or words that rhyme with thunder. And when you're a kid and you're sitting there and you're like, oh my god, what rhymes with thunder? And you're trying to write like a cool poem for some cool person. And then years later, you're like, asunder! Like 30 years later. It's never too late to go back and, well, it is. It's 30 years. It's too late. It's too late. There's no going back. Let's just add little eyeballs here. So as you all know, I just landed here about 6 months ago. 6 months ago now, from a little teeny town called Brückengott, on the south side of the moon. And so I've been living on Earth for about 6 months now, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. Some people are kind of weird, like dicks and stuff. I just learned that word for the first time the other day from some dick, and he was quite a dick. But most of the time, people seem to be pretty rad. You know, they just seem to have their heads up their own asses most of the time. But there's some really neat things going on down here. I never knew. Over there, over on the dark side, people really have fun. Might take a train over there sometimes. They listen to the most beautiful music on the dark side of the moon, because you don't get all the noise from the planet Earth, you know. So the music on the dark side of the moon is the purest form of sound and music and vibration that there simply is in the entire universe. On our little moon. Who would have thought? And actually back there's a big, huge steering wheel that they use to, like, you know, steer it and stuff like that too. It takes about 30 people to do it. It's insane. I like watching, but you're not allowed to take pictures. Up there, like, you can't even use, phones aren't even allowed. They don't call them cellulars up there. Cellulars, phones. They call them prison tanks. I don't know why, that's just a word that caught on. Prison tanks. I don't know. They don't like phones on the moon. They don't, I don't recommend taking your iPhone to the moon, friends. Oh, I'm alone out here. That's right, I forgot. But I have a few people watching me, and I think that's neat. Are you Earthlings? Are you all Earthlings? Or are you, what? Martians or anybody? Anybody out there from Mars or no? Okay, I just lost 2 people. They're probably from Neptune. We all know how Neptunians are. Neptunians? How would you say that? I am from Neptune. I am from the moon of Neptune. This is like the perfect music for that shit. Okay. Alright, let's do this. Yeah. I am from the moon. Wait. Here we go. Yeah. I am from the moon on Neptune. I am from the moon. I lost it. I had it for a second, but then I obviously had it first. I obviously had it. And then I literally dropped it. Like, literally. I can freestyle pretty good, if you didn't know, if you couldn't tell. Yep. Someday my friend that makes all this music will look at all these videos and be like, God damn, he listened to a lot of my music. So it gets stuck in my head all the time now. More so his other stuff with the lyrics, because this guy's a brilliant freaking lyricist. His name's he's my buddy Joey. He's from I met him in Boise, but he goes under Sleepy Seahorse, his projects, and all of his stuff is on like Bandcamp and all that stuff. But he's like one of the most prolific artists, musicians I've ever met. I had the pleasure of meeting. We're so much alike in certain ways. Like, he has a nose and a face and eyeballs and stuff, you know? It's pretty trippy. Hi, cognitive dissonant. Hi, Anna. Hope everybody's having a wonderful morning so far. I ended up having like the best day of my life yesterday at work. I've been having these weird panic attacks. Like I feel like the world is caving in or something like that. And it happened at work the other day. Thankfully, it was like right when I got there, so like there wasn't anybody there. But I just like froze. I just was like paralyzed. I think and move, and I didn't know what to do for like a long time. For like 23 years. No, for like just a few minutes. I was just standing there, like just didn't, because I was just overwhelmed with everything in my life and work and stuff. And I honestly don't. I think what's been affecting me, and I've been able to pinpoint it. I'm sure I've mentioned this a bit, but because the job I have, it's a retail, and I end up like today I'm going to San Luis Obispo to the new store, which is awesome. I love that place, but I have to I have to work myself from like 9:30 to 6:30 tonight. I think, yeah, 6:30. And it's just a long time to be by yourself, and I'm at the point in my life where I just wait. I kind of like, even if my it's not like I'm at home right now, it's not like I talk to my aunt like 24/7, but it's just nice to know somebody's there, if something goes wrong. It's that kind of feeling at work where I'm so new to the position and I don't know enough stuff. I'm not confident in like the register and their policies and the customer base and stuff, to where I feel confident working by myself so much. Um, and I think the owners, they're totally fine. They're cool as shit, and they're not like, it's nothing against them at all. Because I feel like if I were better at the job, I would feel more confident and I could feel better being alone. But so I've been having these awful little stupid weird panic attack things, and then I was talking to my mom and my aunt about it. Like, what I need to do to, I don't know. I've just been feeling lost again. Like I feel like even though it's a great job and everything, it's the worst problem. It's the best problem to have. Is like, oh gosh, I have a full-time job. I'm not trying to complain about it, but it's like I feel like my art is suffering now, and it's gonna suffer because I'm gonna spread myself too thin again, and then I'm gonna get. I don't know. I could see myself sort of going down this hole, this road, on this road. It's panic attacks, but use breathing. Yeah, and I've been trying to breathe a lot too, cognitive. Um, my lower back right now it hurts. Like I've been trying to focus on it, and like, because all of my stress is just right in there. Like if I had a tail, it'd be twitching all the time. I wish I had a tail and retractable claws, by the way. So, anyways, that's just a side note. So, retractable claws would be so cool. That'd be a cool name for like a character in like a Santa Claus horror movie or something. Retractable claws. Like, this is my stepson, retractable. um. So, anyways, I went into work yesterday. I don't know what happened on the way to work or something, but I just decided to like not feel that way anymore. And I was able to just change my entire perspective. And so basically, I was saying this last night as well on the live stream, but I this lady came in, and she's a lot of the ladies around here, like, they're tough as nails. They're kind of, some of them are wealthy, like, but they're ranch people too. Like they're on ranches and usually have animals, and they're just tough people, conservatives, a lot of them, I'm sure. um, but they're hella nice. And so, anyways, she came in, but people just give you a look, and you're just like, oh man, great. What's she gonna say when she comes back up to the counter, or something? I got all like weird, and I did that thing where I judged her, and I always do that. I just I size people up immediately. I just have done that ever since I was a kid, and not in like I'm gonna fight them way, just as I'm gonna get ready for anything way. But anyways, long short is like, she told me her name, and I said, "Oh, your last name is Cantor or something like that." Yeah, I'm not gonna. But her first name is Glenda, and I said to her, she was still shopping, and I said something like, I really like that name," and she's like, "What?" Oh shit, you know. But I was like, "I really like your name, Glenda," I think it's pretty. And she was just like, oh, well, yeah, thanks. And then she's like, it's Scottish. And then we ended up sitting there talking for like 45 minutes, just about everything and anything, like her kids and her going abroad. And her kid lives in Germany, and she was laughing at my jokes, and I was laughing at hers, and it was just we were talking about. I'm Irish and Scottish mainly. I'm mainly Scottish personally, but they're they're more so Irish, and we were echoing each other's finished sentences, and it was just a fucking amazing conversation with this woman. And now I'll never forget her. And she walked out, and she's like, Sean Kelly," because like I have a very Irish name, and I look very Irish, I'm sure. Um, Sorry, I gotta read some of these messages. Nice. Well, trauma. I'm sorry, Hannah. Trauma. Where did that come from? Did I miss something? Oh, alleviate stress. Anyways, I'm sorry. I got off topic, and um I I, I read the messages out of context sometimes. I'm sorry, but then the next customer came in, and you know how that goes. Well, no, it didn't go that way. Actually, it was like awesome as well. And I swear to God, every single customer that came in yesterday that I, thought might be a little bit strange or something, or, because I've worked customer service for a very long time and I can read people, I thought. But yesterday was the exception. And every single customer that came in all day long was completely awesome. Absolutely awesome. And then at the very end of the day, something like with an order, like on my end, went wrong. And the boss's mom was like, oh, like kind of flustered with me, and she's like, "You hit the wrong button. I told you not to hit the." She's on the phone in another city talking to me how to do this thing on the computer in front of me, and I'm just like, I don't learn that way. I'm all like confused myself. But I was like telling her, I'm like, there's no other button I could have pushed. Like there was literally no other button. Like I did not do anything wrong. And so, anyways, I was able to find the order and pull it back up and place it, and everything was fine after that. And she was laughing and saying she was sorry for getting like worked up or something. And I'm like, no, it's just it was just a matter of perspective, and it's not like it's easy to do that all the time. Like I woke up out of a dream yesterday where I was absolutely madly in love with somebody, and I can still remember what they look like. I can still smell them. And we were kissing. We were in this moment in my dream, and I dream very, very vividly every single night. And it's been a long time since I've been absolutely batshit crazy in love with somebody in a dream. Like we had been in love for a long time, kind of feeling, but it was still very fresh and new and wonderful. And then I was ripped away from her. And so then, usually when that happens for the rest of the day, I'm just like you know, a big Debbie Downer and stuff, because it's just awful. It's an awful feeling, because that has happened to me in my life. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was a foreign exchange student from Sweden I was absolutely in love with when I was 17. And she was, well, I'm a poor kid from California, and she went back to Sweden. And then that's why I always thought like my art or my music would take off, because I believed in magic and fate and destiny and all this shit. I was like, we're destined to be together, and then it just was never happening. I'm like, wait a second, what? This isn't how it was supposed to. I was told in all the movies that somebody was just supposed to see me and be like, "Hey, kid, you got what it takes." And then like the next scene, I'm in New York, and there's some montage with some music, and I'm in some room pushing papers around. But then some guy sees me drawing on a fucking milk carton, and they're like, hey kid, you got what it takes. And then they're like, you come up here upstairs. And all of a sudden I'm like fucking talking with this whole board about my ideas about their products and stuff like that. I mean, that's what you're shown in all those stupid ass movies as a kid. So I just believed that like fully, fucking like an idiot. And a huge part of me still does think like that, and knows that I was never even like prepared for anything like that anyways. I wasn't ready for that kind of shit. I watched that movie Big. The movie Big is a perfect example. Because even at 12, I didn't act like that dumbass. I was pretty much a grown-up at 12. I was like forced to be. around a sea of adults who didn't even fucking like me. Not, I don't mean like that. That's just how it felt. Didn't feel like anybody wanted me. Like they didn't want a kid who was like so. I mean, my mom was different. My mom was the exception. I could tell my mom anything, but my dad hated the fact that I was smarter than him at the age of 12. Just in a emotional sense, you know. Like that motherfucker's beating my brother at the age of 13. Full grown ass man, cop. He was a police officer, and he's beating my little brother, kicking him while he's on the ground in his guts. And now my dad's an old man, and Jared still wants to kill him. And I don't blame him. I saw the shit. But that's also why when people say blue lives and all this bullshit, it's just like, you don't know shit. You don't know shit about shit. And that the world isn't black and white like that. You don't just like say an entire swath of people are good or bad. Well, there's bad apples. No, the system is fucking wretched that we have to live in. So there's horrible people everywhere that are desperate and trying to get their fucking fill while they can. Because that's what our society is all about. It's not about compassion and coming together and finding common ground. It's about separation of everything and anything that we all believe in and care about. Even within families now, they're doing that, trying to make people hate your kids for being gay or for being fucking conservative or thinking any other way than they do, for that matter. It's pathetic. Little kids coming on here. I like your art, but I hope you're not gay. So what does that even mean? It's like, even if you're a 30-year-old person saying that shit, it's like, what is your end game there? Like, did I bring that up, or I don't know. It's like I'm sure there's other channels where that's their whole thing, that is their identity. But my whole thing is art. So if you don't like art, jog on. Like that's not what I'm not here to talk about my fucking hairdo, or the eyeliner I'm wearing, or the lipstick I have on my wait. I thank you for the compliments. I didn't think it would look cool, but it actually does. And it gives me the confidence I need to succeed in a world full of hatred and greed. Hannah, you're like I can't tell if you're what you're referring to sometimes because I say so much and I'm sorry. And I can't read it in time a lot as I'm like drawing. But I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. I just think if people were able to just get outside of themselves for like 5 seconds every day, just get outside of yourselves and I don't know how it is for other people when they dream, but when I'm asleep and I'm dreaming, just as soon as before I even hit the pillow, I'm in dreamland, and people say that that's not a thing, and I'm like, well, no, that's a thing, because I dream like I'll live a lifetime in 5 seconds. I mean, those dreams where you're like, when you're like hitting the pillow and you feel like you've been asleep for just half a second, but you dream long enough to imagine yourself walking down a sidewalk and tripping and falling on your face, and that's what like wakes you up, and like and the same people that have those dreams will tell you that you can't instantly dream, which is very silly to me because that's a dream, I would think. But at any rate, once I start really getting into the heavy stuff, that's when I really start going deep and I can start manipulating my dreams. I used to be really good at it. Where are you from, Hannah? I think I've asked you that before. I haven't listened to this album in a little bit. I've been listening to his other stuff that's like super, oh man, self-awareness is like kind of the worst. Or just awareness in general. I mean, it's just being aware of, I'm so hyper aware of things like when I'm outside that like, I don't know, I'm like, I feel like I'm always like 100 steps ahead of everybody else out there. Which helps when you're driving, but sometimes I can also be so far ahead that I'm not even paying attention to, what, to how good I'm driving or not. So I got to be really careful sometimes because my imagination is really starting to take over like it once did. Oh, Knoxville. Okay, cool. What's it like in Knoxville? Isn't that in Georgia or Alabama? Alabama, Georgiaville. I think down on Tennessee Street. Do you know Johnny Knoxville? I think if you're from Knoxville, I'm pretty sure everybody knows him and they you go to dinner at his place or something like that. Probably everybody. TN. Thank you. No, that's not thank you. TN wish. Okay. Is it? Is this like charades? TN wish. Are these the ingredients for like a witch stew or something? Oh, every Tuesday we have witch stew in Tennessee. No shit. And we get 3 wishes. Oh my gosh. I saw that coming a mile away. It is silly. I mean, why you get 3 wishes when all you have to do is have that one wish that just, I want more wishes. It's silly, so silly. I'm gonna maybe go see a movie on Friday with someone, and I was asking earlier what movie I should go see because I don't even. Oh, this is one of my songs in my. I like this song. It's in my Matrix movie. This guy did the sound. All right, he lent me the music for it that I used in a lot of my Matrix parody stuff. It brings back memories now. I made that shit like 6 months ago. It's crazy. I like made a full-on fucking movie out here in this garage by myself. Gladiator 2? Was it? Have you seen it? I know it's out, but it doesn't look that great. I wonder if did Tony Scott? Wait, no, who did the first one? It was Ridley Scott. Was it? I wonder if he. For some reason, I think that he didn't do this one or something. I just think it's funny too, like how whenever they do these like remakes or like these sequels that are set like years later, I mean, not that it's funny because it's just, but it just seems like they just seem like such cash grabs when they get like these old ass actors. It's like I don't want to see 90-year-old Harrison Ford dressed up like fucking, Luke Skywalker again. I just don't. I'm not gonna see Wicked. I just don't. I don't like movies. I don't like movies anymore. They're just so stupid and their just stories suck. Okay, I'll do Gladiator 2. That sounds good. That sounds kind of cool. Gladiator 2 it is. Well, what about, isn't that movie with Hugh Grant still out? The horror movie? I think the girl that I was gonna take out, I think she said she doesn't like horror movies. I don't think that's gonna work between us. Like even my music videos, if you look at some of my early music videos on my channel, like from 2015 and so on, 2017, I actually I did a tour video. I set up a tour for me and like 2 other music bands by myself because no one fucking ever helps me with anything. And I contacted all the businesses and I went on this little 5-day tour and I filmed everything I could and I came back home and I edited it. It's like an hour long. It was from when my band went on this little weird tour. But anyways, I used to do all my own music videos too. And there's a lot of horror elements to my stuff. Because I'm a big fan of, my older brother Gabe raised me on like Michael Myers, Jason, all those cats. I didn't read that other comment. No, but I've heard that it's better than the 2 evil situation. Huh. Interesting. I mean, gladiators and stuff like that. That is such. I mean, it would be worth maybe just going and seeing that movie just because, just the concept of that is just so fucking bizarre. I mean, not so far fetched that we can't even relate to it in our day and age, because we can easily. There's this quote by George Romero. Speaking of horror, but I mean, it's in one of his last movies that he did, Diary of the Dead. There's this character who said it's like this first person sort of uh, found footagey sort of like zombie movie, and I love it because I love first person and I love like Blair Witch style movies. You know, I used to carry a camera with me everywhere, so I love shaky camera, and it makes I love it. Like Cloverfield, people hate that movie, but I love that shit, and it doesn't make me dizzy or anything like that. Um, Gosh, what was I saying? So, yeah, totally just based what I'm thinking about Cloverfield. But I don't like movies like there's certain horror genre that I don't like, and it's like the shock horror stuff, like what do you call it? Like The Hills Have Eyes and that kind of stuff. Like the remake, when we saw it in the theater, like my buddy and I almost walked out because it's just like, God damn, man, this is just gratuitous for the sake of being gratuitous. And I like more. Not that Friday the 13th or anything is like very fantasy or anything, but if you think about it, if you break it down to like the basics, you know, excuse me, Jason Voorhees was a child when he drowned, you know, and so, and he died, you know. So I mean, it's like his mom was in the first one. The first Friday the 13th was his mother. Um, oh my gosh, what I can't remember her name. I always want to say Barbara, but it's not Diane. What's Jason's mom's name again? But anyways, Mrs. Voorhees. That's right. Pamela. That's right, Pamela. Thank you, Terry. I didn't realize you were awake over there. Oh, no problem. He's such a good. He's so smart. But her name was Pamela Voorhees, and but then in the next ones, it was more supernatural because it became Jason Voorhees, and they sort of, I think, made it seem like he survived the drowning or something. But that was the whole point of the first one, that he died and she was getting revenge. I mean, that was his mom. If he was alive, she wouldn't have been doing that. It would have been a whole different horror movie. But so it became supernatural, and it became, for me, sort of like that's like fantasy, you know, dark fantasy or whatever. In that realm, I just think Hills Have Eyes and things like that are just too realistic and just too like on the nose when it comes to. It's just shock horror, and it's just horror like that's just like a Saw or something like that, or the Hostel movies or something. Um, and the thing that gets me about those movies is just like that kind of stuff is like, it's not supernatural to me. And that's what scares me with anything, fear of the unknown, not knowing the capability. I know what people and humans are capable of doing. That doesn't scare me as much as it just when I watch like movies like Saw or something. Not Saw necessarily. Saw's pretty cool. But like Hostel and movies like that, it just makes me mad because I know that shit happens. But when I watch Jason, I can get into it because it's fantasy. It's like fake, you know. I know that there's not some guy that rose from the dead and he's like murdering kids at a lake, and you can kind of get into it in a different way. And I like horror that's more along those lines than the straightforward kind of just shock kind of stuff. If I'm, I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. I'm gonna give this little guy teeth and a tusk. A couple tusks. I hear the world outside waking up. I go outside here. Excuse me. I go outside and in the backyard and I listen, and I can hear the freeway. Really, as if it reminds me a lot of growing up in the valley up north, because the I-5 freeway, I always grew up next to it, but I could hear it all the time. And from far away, it just sounds, traffic just blends together and it just sounds like water. It would just put me to sleep when I had the windows open at night. Same sort of sound here. And then I'm actually right next to a big road. called Charlet. This little area of Paso has grown so much since I was a kid. I lived here when I was 17 in 1997 for about 6 months, and I hated it. I could not. God rest his soul, my Uncle Stan, but we just did not get along. We didn't see things the same way, and I had just came down here from high school after living with my dad and being stranded there. Like, my dad and my stepmom literally, they up and moved to Oregon and just left me in California when I was a senior in high school. And thankfully, I had a good friend whose mom took me in for the last month of high school. So I was actually my dad just was. I always talk about my dad in a bad way here. I don't mean to. It's just my life. I love him now. Back then I've always loved him. It's just not a question of that, but I was a kid and I never let him down in the ways that he let me down. But yeah, they moved up north and left me here or in California. And all the time they're just putting me down all year long, saying I was a piece of shit, would never amount to anything, and always put me down for my grades. And it was always my grades. It was never the content or whatever of my character. It was always just oh, he would catch me with cigarettes. So I was the most evil person in the fucking world all of a sudden because I smoked a cigarette. That kind of shit. And violently angry about stuff like that. And when you did things that he said to not do or whatever, that kind of stuff, just doing kid shit, he would really take it out on you. But yeah, then I moved in with my buddy Mike, and then I ended up graduating high school. I ended up walking down that shit, and I walked hand in hand with that girl from Sweden. And my dad didn't even come to my graduation. That's how life is sometimes, I reckon. I don't know how I got there from horror movies, but it's all the same. It's all relative. All right. It's almost 6 o'clock. Okay. 6 o'clock. If you're wearing headphones, you can probably hear the traffic. No, can't listen to that because you make me pay for it now. No. No. Gonna drink a little bit of coffee and stretch a little bit. That's right. This is gonna stretch just a little bit. Back and forth. And forward. And just a little bit backward. Oh gosh. And to the right. And to the left. There we go. Perfect. Oh god, that feels so good. Hope everybody's having a spirited morning. Or afternoon, depending on where you are, who you are, and what you choose to believe in. Okay, I guess we're gonna go see Gladiator 2. like a little cat person. Let's make this little cat person's dreams come true. Let's give it a little cat nose. There we go. Getting a little closer to something. The coffee is still hot. So is the topic. And today you can save 25% off topic that is hot. At Hot Topic? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true. All I know for sure is that they're sponsoring this video, and I was told to say that everything today at Hot Topic is free. I don't think it's true, but that's what I was told to say, so I'm saying it. I am actually drawing in the center of the mall, waiting for Hot Topic to open right now. Well, actually waiting for the mall to open too. I'm not supposed to be in here right now. It's kind of lonely, and it's very cold. If anybody knows anybody from the FBI, please send them my way. Somewhere like a little like bell just went off, and some FBI agent woke up and he's like, ding ding ding, like, oh, huh, what? I haven't been summoned in years. What is this? And then like get on YouTube and they're like checking out my channel right now. They're like, what? I was woken up for this crap. Yes, friends, that's how seriously, how quickly and how seriously things can change. So you should never ask questions, never betray the government. Always bend over and lick the boot of the authority. It is our destiny to be led by our genitals everywhere, by people who wish to either subjugate us or destroy us. So it goes. Thankfully, most of us have the chance of becoming rich like them. That way we can look down on others the way they look down on us. And society will be whole once again, once everybody's rich. And that way everybody's equal. That's going to be quite the day. I can't wait to be everybody rich. I mean, everybody's rich. Everybody's going to be rich. It's going to be great. All right. And I don't mean like pocket change. I mean like rich. We're going to be like filthy. All of us. We're going to be filthy dog rich. Filthy ding dong, raw dog rich. That's what my friend used to call it, raw dog rich. There's no such thing. It's not even in the Urban Dictionary. Trust me, I looked. I looked at it upside down, inside out. Believe me, it's not in there. Someday it will be, maybe, when the world becomes more open-minded. But for now, yeah, no. The raw dog diaries are shut. They're closed. Nobody's reading that shit. Not on purpose, anyways. I keep forgetting to add these fingers. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there are 5. There's usually 5 fingers on the hand, right? There, now it sort of looks like a... There. Anyway, I better be showing up. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Stay warm. Hope you and your family have a wonderful day. And have good things to say at the end of it. I'm gonna go get ready for mine, I guess. Maybe if I take a shower, I'll cheer up. I'm kind of feeling okay. Just need to wake up a little bit. Even though I've been up for hours. Okay, I'll see y'all later, okay? Today's Wednesday now. That means it's anything can happen. So go out there and make whatever it is that you need to make happen, because the world is literally your pearl. The universe is the oyster. And that doesn't make very much sense. But at least we don't make sense together. How about that? So you be cool. You take care.